Good evening, one and all. We welcome you all to the international webinar series on holistic health, well-being, and sustainable development 2024, commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, nation celebrating 76 years of independence, and United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2015 to 2030 as part of awareness and campaigns in collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute Center for Art, Sciences, and Wellbeing. Before we start our sessions, let's take the blessings of Almighty.
कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः
With the blessings of Almighty, we shall continue with today's commemorations. Today is commemorated as Air Conditioning Day, Air Conditioning Appreciation Day, which is celebrated from July 3rd to August 15th every year. The days are marked to acknowledge the invention and role of air conditioning in modern society. Air conditioners serve several purposes today. Apart from cooling homes, air conditioners regulate temperature in medical settings and filter the air for allergens. The period between July 3rd and August 15 is also recognized by the air conditioning and refrigeration institutions, ARI, as Air Conditioning Appreciation Days. Another object of this period is to remind AC owners to properly clean and maintain their air conditioning units. Humans have used several methods to regulate. Humans have used several methods to regulate the temperatures of their surroundings over years. Before the invention of air conditioners, civilizations came up with many ways to keep themselves cool. Persians from over 3,000 years ago used quantets, a system of underground water tunnels to cool their buildings. Romans had a similar system to their aqueducts. These were systems consisting of tunnels, pipes, ditches, canals, and supporting structures that conveyed streams of water to cities and villages. Cool water was pumped into public baths and fountains and the homes of wealthy to keep them cool. In ancient Egypt, wind catchers were used as an architectural elements to create natural ventilation in buildings. The use of fans was enhanced by Ding Hong of Chinese Han Dynasty, invented a seven-wheel rotary fan. Modern air conditioners can be dated back to 1202 when Willis Haviland Carrier invented air conditioning. Modern air conditioners can be dated back to 1902 when Willis Haviland Carrier invented air conditioning. Carrier, a resident of New York, attempted to figure out a way to reduce the humidity levels within a printing press in the city. He noticed that air tended to cool down when it passed over water filled coils, which led to the first working model of the air conditioner. His invention controlled both the temperature and the humidity. Through this invention, was intended for industrial use. Air conditioners eventually found their way to residential applications. Air conditioning has undoubtedly changed the landscape of how human beings interact with temperatures. Air conditioning has undoubtedly changed the landscape of how human beings interact with temperatures. It is now possible to be comfortable in 100-degree weather. In fact, the concept of a summer blockbuster is owed to air conditioning. People would flock to theaters during summer months to escape the heat, thus driving up ticket sales. Today, air conditioning plays a significant role in modern society and all more the reason to mark this day. Persians use qanats, underground irrigation systems, to keep cool. In 900 BC, the Romans built their first adequate structures to conserve water. In 312 BC, the AC is invented. In 1902, Willis Haviland Carrier invents the AC. The first home air conditioner, 1929, British Air launches a split system room cooler shaped like a radio cabinet on the market. They tend to go on the sale by late March. It is the time of year you get a lot of offers. While the answer is subjective, the multi-split AC is the most energy efficient when coming to which is the best type of air conditioner. Some alternatives include window units and portable AC units. So your AC consistently filters out dirt and other pollutants from air. Keep it running smoothly by cleaning your AC filters. Regular checkups for your AC can prolong its life. Schedule one if you haven't for a while. If your AC has been on for a long time, give it a break. Turn your AC off for a bit to let it rest. The first AC unit in the White House costed US dollars 30,000. After World War II, air conditioners became status symbol, thus driving up sales. The first car with an air conditioner was launched in 1939. The term air conditioning was coined by Stuart Kramer. By 2009, about 87% of US household air conditioning. It brings attention to AC maintenance. The air conditioning appreciation days bring attention to ways to properly maintain an AC unit. If you take care of your AC, it will serve you better in the long run. It compounds mindful consumption. A better understanding of how air conditioning works can lead to more mindful consumption. It is always important to be mindful of the effect of an environment. Air conditioning has a fascinating history. This period acts as an excuse to read on it. Today is also commemorated as American Redneck Day in US, which is celebrated on July 3rd every year across the country. The festivities are loudest in the south of America, where people are more commonly characterized as rednecks. American Redneck Day is a day for people who have turned rednecks to celebrate their identity and reclaim the word from its derogatory roots. Redneck is a term applied to white American people who are perceived to be unsophisticated or crass, particularly those from rural backgrounds and lifestyles. Over time, the world has become part of the American lexicon, who are as part of the American lexicon, the word is treated as offensive slang and is used to include racist. And boorish white Americans. However, redneck can also be viewed as a lifestyle. So, American Redneck Day. The epithet redneck is used as a characterized to white Americans from rural backgrounds perceived as crass and unpolished. Originally used to describe farmers, coal miners, redneck is a word applied in mirrored ways. While it has been used in denigratory ways, southern farmers proudly refer to themselves as rednecks even in the early days when the word was supposed to mean a poor and uneducated white farmer. While the term has always been derogatory, it has become increasingly offensive over the years. Now, referring to someone as a redneck is usually a way of labeling a white American racist, boorish, unwilling to adapt, and resistant to progress. In media and popular culture, rednecks are stereotyped as poor, dirty, uneducated, unsophisticated, and racist Southern men. Over time, the term became increasingly politicized as people began to call on American rednecks to wear their title proudly, mobilize for various causes, and protect their interests. Many Southerners adopt the term as self identifier, are proud of being American rednecks. Today is also commemorated as Belarus Independence Day in Belarus. The day is a federal holiday in Belarus and commemorates the country's breakaway from the Soviet Union. The day is marked primarily by military parades and solemn ceremonies headed by the President of Belarus. There are a series of social events and public activities for the people to celebrate their culture and identity as Belarusians. There are several festivities throughout the day which end with firework displays. Belarus is the only other country to separate its split from the Soviet Union before the collapse of Soviet Union. Just a second, we'll resume in a minute. Today is also commemorated as Disobedience Day in US. If you are not only to play the rules, then Disobedience Day is celebrated on July 3rd each year. Is a day you just can't miss out on. If you were being fancy and literary, we would probably use the term carnivals, but whichever way you slice it, it's about letting loose and being a bit too subversive in your own right. Subversion have been popular throughout history. In fact, very wheels of the history have often been turned based on subversive events of every kind, be it through bloody resolutions, flower power, listening to rebel rock and roll, or just standing for the underdog. Everyone can find it in themselves to break free of the constraints society has imposed. Even if it is just a little bit, essentially, as its core, Disobedience Day is about nonviolent protest of issues, laws, or causes which are perceived to be unjust, so we're in no way encouraging kids to disobey their parents or for anyone to use this as an excuse to rail against the man. The true spirit of this day is trying something different, standing upon for yourself or someone else, especially if you are burdened by rules or structures which have been misused or made life too mundane. To the exact origins of Disobedience Day and any record of its first observance are not to be found. The existence of several days pertaining to civil or social disobedience suggests that this day intends to promote education on civil disobedience. We have good reason to believe this day has been founded to encourage people to live a little by breaking free of some of the more oppressive rules or structures they may be struck with. It can also be a great day to find but more about what the core tenets of civil disobediences are. So we have only to flip through the pages of our history textbook to see how disobedience has helped change the world, well done in the right way and with a true spirit of justice. From civil rights movement in America in 1950s to 60s to the freedom struggle in India against British Empire 1930s and 40s to the suffragette movement in Britain in 1920s, non-violent fights against varying forms of oppression are peppered across the world, both big and small. If you think about it, obedience to someone else has been ingrained in every human being since birth. As we are told to first obey our parents, then teachers, bosses, and other social authority figures and our institutions. And though no man is an island, no one is mere robot either. It's also ingrained in our very souls to seek freedom and meaning of our own. So why not use Disobedience Day to your own advantage by making it your own in whatever uniquely the way you want to? The key is to be respectful. So we have only to flip through the pages of our history textbooks to see how disobedience has helped change the world when done in the right way with a true spirit of justice. from civil rights movement in America in the 1950s to 60s to the freedom struggle in India against the British Empire, 1930s and 40s to the suffragette movement in Britain in the 1920s, nonviolent fights against various forms of oppressions are peppered across the world, both big and small. If you think about it, obedience to someone else have been ingrained in every human being since birth. As we are told to first obey our parents, then teachers, bosses, and other societal authority figures and our institutions. And though no man is an island, no one is mere Robert either. It is also ingrained in our very souls to seek freedom and meaning of our own. So why not use disobedience to your own advantage by making it your own in whatever uniquely you way you want to? The key is to be respectful and mindful to the fact that everyone can make this day their own, so that no encroaching on that fundamental right. Today is also commemorated as International Drop a Rock Day. Each year, rock art is channeled towards inspiring and showing kindness to others. This is an unofficial holiday that many would have preferred to be official, to have more time getting inspired and having fun with hundreds of theme word rocks concealed in places for others to find. Every July 3rd, for the last 7 years, thousands of people around the world go on a rock hunt, while thousands more make what is being sourced for. Both makers and searchers have one thing in common: they have fun and share kindness. Today is also commemorated as International Plastic Bag Free Day, which is celebrated on July 3rd, which is a global initiative that aims to eliminate the use of plastic bags. Plastic bags may seem like a grocery shopping convenience, but they are also a huge strain on the environment. It can take up to 500 years for plastic bags to disintegrate, so that they make up a large portion of what stays in our landfills and pollutes our waterways. For most of our history, single use products were blasphemous, but through the end of the industrial revolution, and into the modern era, plastic became a cheap and plentiful resource. Plastic bags are just one perfect example. From birth to ban, the history of plastic bag has impacted our world. In 1933, polyethylene, the most commonly used plastic, was created by accident at a chemical plant in Northwich, England. While polyethylene had been created in small batches before, this was the first synthesis of a material that was industrially practical, and it was initially used in secret by British military during the World War II. By 1965, one-piece polyethylene shopping bag was patented by the Swedish company Celloplast. Designed by the engineer Sten Gustav Thulin, the plastic bag quickly begins to replace the cloth and plastic in Europe. After controlling 80% of the bag market in Europe, plastic bags went abroad and were widely introduced to the United States in 1970. Plastic companies began to aggressively market their product as superior to paper and reusable bags. It wasn't until 1997 the sailor and researcher Charles Wood discovered the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, the largest of several gyres in the world's oceans, where immense amounts of plastic waste have accumulated, threatening marine life. It was discovered that the plastic bags are notorious for killing sea turtles, which mistakenly think they are jellyfish and eat them. So, Bangladesh became the first country in the world to implement a ban on thin plastic bags in 2002. After it was found, these plastic bags played a key role in clogging drainage systems during disastrous flooding. Other countries quickly followed suit, such as South Africa, Rwanda, China, Australia, and Italy. Bangladesh became the first country in the world to implement a ban, and similarly, many countries also followed it. International Plastic Bag Free Day looks for a safer alternatives to demonstrate that a world without the use of much plastic is possible. It is a part of Break Free from Plastic movement, which began in September 2016 and has been joined by nearly 1,500 different organizations. The movement is looking for solutions to the plastic pollution crisis to make the planet safer for humans, the environment, and wildlife. Today is also commemorated as National Chocolate Wafer Day in US, a big day for all chocolate lovers. You can allow yourself to indulge in this sinful treat without having to worry about the extra calories. To enjoy this day to the fullest, we recommend having a chocolate wafer for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Chocolate wafers are also known as wafer cookies, sugar wafers, sugar biscuits, and fairy wafers. While most of us enjoy these wafers as snacks, they can also be enjoyed as a dessert or served at tea time. Lightly flavored and layered with a rich chocolate filling, chocolate wafers are loved by everyone. In North America, a number of companies made chocolate wafers, and even brand has its own trademark, taste and style. The companies carefully choose the ingredients and took special pride in packaging. Over the years, most companies merged, and by 1930s, there was only a few brands that was exclusively making chocolate wafers. Today, chocolate wafers are an American favorite. Thanks to their light texture and delicious taste, they make for a fabulous addition to ice cream. Bakers also swear by chocolate wafers, an ingredient in cakes and cheesecakes. The crushed wafers add an interesting texture to pies and tarts. Decorating with wafers is a common practice, and they truly make a dish look more inviting. While chocolate wafers are a popular snack, the most famous chocolate wafers are Kit Kat. Kit Kat is a delicious combination of a chocolate and wafers that are popular in America and in quite few other countries too. Another version of the chocolate wafer that we consume regularly is the chocolate waffle cone. Creameries serve ice creams in those waffle cones. When you finish with the ice cream, you have another treat waiting for you, unlike other varieties of cookies and biscuits. Wafers are quite difficult to make at home, and that is probably why they sell so widely at supermarkets. Today is also commemorated as National Compliment Your Mirror Day. In US, we live in an image-driven world. Sometimes this can cause us to not notice, and compliment very important person. That is, guess who? In our lives and ourselves, that is mirror. The day motivates us to look in the mirror and recognize all those things that make us exceptional inside and out, that is us. We see ourselves in the mirror, right? So self-esteem is how you perceive yourself. In other words, it responds to the feelings you get when you think about all the elements that form your personality and physical appearance. This self-evaluation is believed to occur in 6 different areas. So one's inherited endowments, including intelligence and physical characteristics. So we are talking about 6 different areas: feeling likable and lovable, being a unique human being of value, worth of respect, feeling in control or responsible for one's life, moral virtue or integrity, what one has achieved. The emphasis is a person gives to any of these areas will mostly likely change through different stages of life. Children may be more concerned about their perception of how much they are loved, whereas adults might give greater attention to the evaluation of their achievements. So the origins of the concept can be traced back up the writings of David Hume in the 18th century. He suggested that it is very important to value and think well of yourself because it serves as a motivational function. In the 1970s, self esteem began to be recognized as an important pillar in the academic performance of students and overall happenings of young people. Now, more than ever, this is an increasing need for people to find positive ways to relate themselves. A National Compliment Your Mirror Day is one of these welcome reminders. There is also commemorated as National Eat Your Beans Day in US, which occurs on July 30 every year, and we guarantee it will be a day that you will give a whole appreciation for legumes as a food group. And if not, perhaps our fun facts and riddles will have you full of beans. Try one on for size. I am a bean very lean. I am not fat. I'm sure of that. Like all beans, I am small and round, but unlike others, I don't grow in the ground. Giving away the answer would be too easy, but we will give you a hint. This may be a kid's favorite kind of bean. It may also surprise you to know that beans are not strictly classified as veggies either, since legumes, by definition, are any seeds of fruits that grow within the pods or edible pods themselves, which grow on leguminous plants, those belonging to the pea family. This opens up a whole world of beans to us, which should be exciting, especially for those who grew up being forced to eat beans as a vegetable. Though the exact date and reason of National Eat Your Beans are not yet known, but bean cultivation dates back as early as 7,000 years ago, making it a staple that stood the test of the time. And we are not surprised with amazing health benefits. Legumes are plant based, protein packed powerhouses of nutrition. So, this also means that they are for everyone, no matter the diet of lifestyle choice. It's very rare to find a person allergic to beans, though some legumes can trigger allergic reactions, such as peanuts. Beans are originally from wild vines which grow in Central and South America. This is known as common bean. And since then, thousands of bean varieties exist today and they are cultivated all over the world. They are one of the most versatile crops and can be grown almost everywhere. 5,000 years ago, the lima bean and other varieties were a popular favorite among the Incas and Aztecs. And the popularity of beans is so much so that they are worth a mention in the Homer's Iliad, where he uses beans as a metaphor. Ancient Egyptians seem to have also been partial to beans and lentils, as paintings and physical evidence shows that bodies were buried with beans to nourish them on their journey to the afterlife. By the 1500s, with the advent of trade via ships, begin to reach all the corners of the globe, and more varieties began to be cultivated. Though often viewed as a poor man's food, beans have an important source of nourishment for people in dire circumstances, such as soldiers who fought in the First and Second World Wars, on the Europeans who were dying out due to spread of the plague in Europe during the Middle Ages, who would have thought beans would have been lifesavers. Today is also commemorated as National Fried Clam Day. Today is also commemorated as National Stay Out of the Sun Day in US. So it encourages us to give our skin a much needed break from the sweltering heat, although one doesn't technically need to be indoors to avoid the sun. Any excuse to lounge around the house for a lengthy period of time can and should be taken full advantage of. The moderate sun exposure will provide you with a healthy, all natural dose of vitamin D, but spending too much time basking in the sun speeds up aging process. Whether you opt to spend this holiday relishing great indoors or relaxing in a hammock in the shade, we got a couple of ideas to help you celebrate. Today is also commemorated as Start the Conversation Day. In US, it is a day to check in with a loved one about their mental health. Mental illness may be socially isolating, so it's crucial to check in our friends and family regularly to show them that we care about overall well-being. The day encourages individuals to communicate with anybody without reluctance or fear. The conversation is the sole means of for two or more individuals to share information. It is critical to have effective communication skills since they play an important part in socializing with others. Only talking allows you to express yourself genuinely, to keep a discussion entertaining, effective listening, turn taking, praising, being confident, keeping things simple, and various other abilities are required. To begin and maintain a relationship, you must master the skill of speaking. Finally, today, the last commemoration of the day is VI Emancipation Day in US. People in the United States, Virgin Islands, celebrate the VI Emancipation Day every year on July 3rd. It is considered a significant day because it commemorates the release of enslaved people from Danish rule in the West Indies. It celebrates the official abolition of slavery in West Indies. People, it celebrates the official abolition of slavery in the West Indies Islands and is a public holiday in the US Virgin Islands. More than 9,000 enslaved black people revolted against the Danish colonizers on, on July 13, 1848, as per the orders of then Governor General of the Danish West Indies, Peter von Scholten, and all the enslaved people were set free. The revolt was spearheaded by Moses Godty. To the day the slaves in Caribbean nations were freed from the slavery by colonizers is observed as a state holiday in these islands. The British Empire officially abolished slavery on August 1st, 1834. Since the mid-8th century, the Virgin Islands, which consist of islands of St. Thomas, St. John, and St. Croix, were under Danish rule. The islands were ideal for sugar plantations, a highly intensive, labor-intensive crop. All of this manual labor was provided by enslaved black people brought in ships from Africa and other areas and were called slaves. They exceeded the Danish settlers by a large number. One of the earliest slave upsprings occurred at St. John Island in 1733, when slaves seized control of island for 6 months. However, the uprising was eventually managed and cooled down with the assistance of French powers. In the year 1834, Britain officially abolished slavery. The French followed suit in 1848. The slave emancipation movement in France influenced the Virgin Islands as well, thereby triggering a non-violent slave uprising on St. Croix, despite the assurance given by the Danish crown to liberate all the slaves permanently by 1859. The slaves were freed before time by then Danish government. So the United States Virgin Islands has declared the anniversary of the incident of a public holiday, and it is also followed by American Independence Day on July 4th. The biggest celebration in St. Croix takes place in Frederickstead, also called Freedom City, where the slave insurrection of 1948 took place. The day is celebrated with much enthusiasm, and the festivities include children games, cultural and entertainment, oratory, musical shows, dance performances, food, drinks, and crafts. So slavery is not over yet. Sadly, around 40 million individuals were enslaved in 2019, with a quarter of them being children, and slavery continues in the 21st century. Child labor, forced marriages, human trafficking, and sexual slavery are some of the prevalent and modified forms of enslavement, common even today. According to the reports, forced labor generates an annual profit of more than $150 billion in the US alone. As per the UNICEF, more than 160 million children work as laborers in the US. Children are bursting, and reporters indicate that sub-Saharan Africa employs the most child laborers. In around 26% of the country's children work as laborers. So reading and exploring the history of these islands is important. Knowing more about the freedom movements helps us to understand the malpractices of slavery. For almost 2 centuries, the Danish rulers were engaged in the slave trade. The VI Emancipation Day commemorates the struggle involved in the abolition of this degrading practice. Irrespective of color and creed, everyone is equal and holds the freedom of to live as per his or her own terms. This day reminds us that a balanced and good society has no place for just slavery. This is a day to salute the virtues of equality and liberty that are essential. So, with this, we shall conclude today's commemorations. As usual, today also we will observe a couple of minutes silence and offer prayer and meditation for the global peace and harmony. Let's the global peace and harmony prevail and observe few minutes silence and let's pray and meditate for the global peace and harmony. Thank you everyone for being together in the prayers and meditation for the global peace and meditation. So thank you everyone. See you all tomorrow with the same link with different commemorations. And take care. Good night. And we are streamlining the event for daily certificates also. maybe in coming days, maybe in a month's time, we are trying to issue all the pending certificates. And from now onwards, I mean, not now, from next month onwards, the daily certificates will be issued on a daily basis only, so that everyone, those who are following all formalities, they will get by the next day before the program starts, they will be getting the certificate. So this way we are also reducing our workload on that day. Initially it was like that only, but as in way the workload is also increasing. So we thought immediately we'll spend some more time. But for that, what we are doing is we are closing the registration forms and feedback forms immediately after the event, so that there will be no other, registrations or feedback accepted, and no further certificates will be issued. This will be applicable from next month onwards, from August 1st onwards. So all the forms, registration forms, feedback forms will be only accessible once for each participant and presenter. And all the forms has to be filled correctly only once. If you make any mistake, you will not get any once again opportunity to fill, and you will become automatically ineligible for all the benefits. Because we have seen a lot of, redundant work has been increasing to reduce all the things. So to also conserve our time, we have taken this decision. Earlier it was like that only, but we are more considerate, but people are not understanding that, we are trying to help them, but it is becoming other way around. So from now onwards, we will follow the same procedure as all other organizations are following. Same system. Only once you will be able to get the opportunity to register and provide feedback. Within that time, if you don't fill the feedback and registration form and complete the formalities, you will not be getting any certificate. So similar way, like all other conferences are doing, we'll also do it. And other things are like presentation guidelines. We are very strict, particular, and there is no checking that happens till you apply for certificate. So the registration forms you are entering are not verified or not validated. You can register yourself and you can participate and present, but will not verify all those details. Without registration also you can participate, but for registration, registration is mandatory for getting certificate and being officially part of the records, official records, so that your name also comes in the proceedings, but will not verify all those details initially. So only those who are applying for e-certificates, their details will be verified at the time of issuing the certificate. So you might be wondering, actually, many people are asking, because even in modern times, you see, you apply for various entrance exams. No, when you apply, they will only see the basic criteria. And only at the time of counseling, they verify your certificates, they verify your local status, they verify your all those details only at the time of when for admission or at the time of examination. So in a similar way, we are also following the same system here. At the time of application, whether you are filling it with correct details, incorrect details, valid details, invalid details, we are not checking that. So we basically check whether you have minimum details required or not. And then whether you are attending or not, whether you have minimum attendance or not, because only at the end, certificate is an optional, as we have clearly mentioned every time. Even you can see on the website, certificate comes at the last, only for those who are completing all this. So if you are joining only for the sake of certificate, there is nothing wrong also for joining at the same of certificate, but ensure that you are completing your formalities. We have clearly mentioned on the public domain, those who are even for presentation guidelines also, we have set up strict presentation guidelines. Even on the guidelines page, we have updated. Even in the e-certificate page, we have updated. Only those who are following strictly the guidelines will only get the certificate. You cannot come and present as you want. No, there is a strict format you have to follow from now onwards, because it is creating lot of wastage of time and follow-ups, which we have to understand, but unfortunately that is not happening. So that's why, to avoid all these things, strictly all the formatting, everyone, whoever is present, has to follow the presentation guidelines, has to complete it, unless and until there are pre-approved speakers who have been regularly presenting. For them, it is an exception, but that should be confirmed by us. It doesn't mean that everyone will get exception. Only just couple of people we have exempted, because they have been there with us since long time, since years. They are there associated with us. For them, we have given a relaxation. Only you also can get that provision or privilege, but you need to attend daily. You need to contribute it, not in terms of money, in terms of time, in terms of resources, either by attending or either by presentation or through feedback. Because in somehow we have to contribute and encourage each other. That is the way. We are not bothered about the numbers. We are only interested in creating awareness. Either one person also, if joins, also fine. We are going to create awareness. We are not bothered about numbers. And from now onwards, maybe we will try to implement from the next event onwards. All the registration forms, feedbacks forms will be accepting the data only once. You have to fill all the details correctly in the very first time. Otherwise, you have to use different email address to fill the registration form. And that too, if you do it multiple times, you will be automatically disqualified from that event. So now, there will be a seriousness from both, everyone, from our side, your side, so that, we can have good things. And feedback form also in the same way. It will be strictly closed. Now, all the feedback forms registrations are open, but, people are filling up at their convenience and unnecessarily blaming by not completing the formalities. This is not at all unacceptable, because we cannot keep checking every day and, issuing. It is not possible. Even if you are at my place, you will not do, you will never do, because, first of all, a lot of time is required. We have to check each and everything. So it is not possible, literally. Because see, it's a common sense thing. If you are not even bothered to register and fill the feedback form correctly in time, now where you will spend additional time in verifying every day and try to see, that is not at all possible. So that itself says, you will never spend that much time as we are spending. You doesn't mean not only who are present here, because this is being watched online also in YouTube. So that's why I'm telling to everyone. So if we are saying that we will spend more time, then definitely you could have done it correctly in the first place itself. So even that is lacking, means somewhere something is lacking on our part. So it is our responsibility, everyone's responsibility, to complete everything in time. And maybe in coming 2-3 months, we'll issue whatever, those who have completed formalities late also will give, but we also inform that. So July 31st will be the last, date for completing all the formalities for previous certificates. And on August 1st, all the forms, registration forms, feedback forms of all the earlier events will be closed on that day, and no further, request of previous events will be accepted. So those who did not complete, kindly go to the website, find the registration forms, feedback forms, and if you ensure if your certificate is not there, fill all the details correctly. And as already mentioned, if you are a student, mention all the details completely. Don't just mention as student. You mention which year, which semester you are studying, and which course, and also which college, university. Don't mention, and even if you are working, also mention all the details. That will help us to recognize, and mention full names. Don't use, initials, because that may not be accepted. Use the names as it is on your academic certificates, because generally if you go abroad or anywhere, the name should be same. So don't casually enter your names or any other details for that reason. Kindly, because you are going to fill only once and no changes will be accepted, and certificates also will be issued as you are registered. So no data can be changed later. You will get only one opportunity, because whatever you are filling in registration form has to be filled exactly in the feedback form. Then only system will generate. If you fill two different names, two different formats, then your system will not generate certificates. So that's why ensure whatever you are filling the details, in the very first place, your title, topic, presentation, your name, designation, everything, you cross-check, carefully fill the registration form, and after attending the event, also carefully fill the feedback form and complete all the details. For participants, fill the registration form in Zoom and also feedback form in Zoom, along with the Google registration form and feedback form. And be active, proactive. And for presenters, after registration in the Google form, you join and register whichever day your presentation is. You register in Zoom, and also make your presentation. Before presenting, make sure you are sending all the details, PPT, your photo, everything to the email ID. That should be sent before, but many are not sending nowadays, especially. But that is again one of the reasons that you are not getting certificates, because you are not completing the formalities, and that's the reason certificates are being delayed or denied. So ensure that you are following the presentation guidelines. Keep a copy or take a printout of presentation guidelines with you and follow them strictly, and just read it before coming to the platform itself. Go through that and follow the instructions. Prepare slides accordingly. Just 3-4 slides. You can remind yourself about the presentation guidelines. So you can dedicate 1 or 2 slides additionally. There is, so that you can remind yourself and you can present accordingly. So thank you for your support. You all have been supporting us. And with this continued support, we will also take it forward. Soon we are, enhancing our services to much more avenues. So we'll have more things coming in, and different people also coming in. So it will be also an advantage to all of you, an additional benefit to all of you. So let's all together come together, stay together, build together. Thank you once again. Before leaving, quickly fill up the feedback form. Take care. Good night.